Hey guys, this is Rob Swanson, and this is The Ride Home. Pretty good week. Had a pretty darn good week across all various aspects of the business, from the real estate investing business, which is the core thing that we do, to the software company, to the real estate investing franchise. And as I kind of reflect back on this week and think about, what are the things that we improved in our business this week, I'm going to tell you what I think it is. I think one of the things that we improved on, what I improved on in my business this week, is in the franchise side. And the reason I'm going to kind of focus in on the franchise side is because it impacts significantly other business owners. And we did our quarterly off-site business partners meeting about 3 weeks ago, and one of the things that came out of that was the just sort of realization and the commitment that we're really good at teaching people business, we're really good at teaching people sales, and we're really good at building internal sales training processes and systems that help people succeed. And so, that's one vertical, that's one area of sales, but then business strategy is another area that I think we do really well and we excel in. And so as I reflect back on this week, we got better for our franchisees this week by realizing and looking at and taking a picture of all of our franchisees that are operating around the country. We kind of dove in and we looked at some of the business metrics and the KPIs of their business, and we said, what does this tell us? Because if every franchise owner is at a certain spot in the operation of their business today, we can look at this and we can say, okay, you're either doing good or there's areas for improvement. And some of that can be subjective. And I would much rather have an objective conversation than subjective. My opinion doesn't matter. Another person's opinion doesn't matter. Business is mathematical in many ways. And so what we decided to do was really dive in and do some business diagnostics with a few of our franchisees. And the reason I'm telling you this and how I'm looping this all back through the ride home and talking about how we got better for our franchisees this week is we recorded those business diagnostics. We shared it with everybody, all of the franchisees across the entire network, and everybody had the opportunity to learn, and everybody got the chance to see, diving in on a franchisee's business, what are they doing? What did they teach? What have we taught them that they are doing? And what did we teach them that they're not doing? And by doing that business diagnostic, we were able to uncover some things by looking at the business metrics and really dialing it down. So let me give you a couple of those. We dove into the lead management system on one side, and we dove into the KPIs and the daily activity and actions of the team on the other side. And so here's what I mean by that. On the one side, we were looking at lead management, and see, here's what most real estate investors or business people do. They launch lead generation, they launch some kind of a strategy, and it's hodgepodge. They get a lead on the west side of town, they get a lead on the north side of town, they get a lead in the central part of town, they get a lead on the southeast. And they're all over the place. And then they go and they look for buyers and tenants and the exit strategy and the takeout side of the equation. And what ends up happening is they're chasing mud. They're not laser focused. It's like a shotgun with little dots and speckles all over the place, rather than a laser that's focused in like a rifle on things that are going to connect the front and the back side of the business. So we went through the diagnostics process and said, okay, well, let us help each franchisee figure out how to laser in on doing lead generation, or working the leads that we've done the lead generation for, and matching that up with the back end exit strategy on the buyer side, in the business. And just by going through and doing some organization in our various franchisees' leads campaigns and showing them how to look at the campaigns, organize, search, filter, and get honed in and targeted, the results literally overnight were astounding. Franchisees ended up with more contracts, more deals as a result of that training that we just did earlier this week than they would have had without it. So I consider that a success. I think that's a win. The other side of that is the KPIs, and the KPIs are understanding what the daily to-do tasks, what do you got to do on a daily basis in order to hit the results you want. So number one, you got to know what results you want. And when I hire, or when we hire in our business an acquisitions person, that acquisitions person needs to be able to produce at least $20,000 a week in gross profit. $20,000 a week is $80,000 a month. $80,000 a month is $1 million a year. So when we bring an acquisitions person on board, we expect that they're going to produce $80,000 a month or $1 million a year. Well, then you have to take that and you got to backtrack that out and say, well, what are the things that that person can do on a daily basis that they can control that is going to help them accomplish the quota, accomplish the objective, accomplish the goal. And for us, that top line KPI, the key performance indicator, is daily calls. Is this acquisitions person on a daily basis working in both inbound and outbound leads, and are they making a minimum of 35 phone calls a day? If they're making a minimum of 35 phone calls a day, that's 170 phone calls a week, whether that's inbound or outbound. That's actions that they can take, right? If they receive an inbound call, that doesn't count towards their outbound activity. They need to be following up on leads. They need to be doing outbound calling in order to prospect and hit their numbers. And so if you're doing 35 calls a day, that means you should be making 10 offers a week. The expectation is that you're going to do 10 offers a week. Minimum. I want you to do more, but I want you to do a minimum of 10 offers a week. If you hit Wednesday and you're only at 4 offers, you know Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you better get to work. If that means you need to make more phone calls in order to hit KPI number 2, you better make more phone calls in order to hit KPI number 2, because if you're not making offers, you're not making money. So KPI number 2, 10 offers a week for every single acquisitions guy. Now we know that a certain number of those are going to get accepted. Most are going to be rejected. The objective, the KPI, the quota, is to get one contract and book $20,000 a month or a week in gross profit. So that one contract should yield $20,000 a week in gross profit. So if that contract comes in light, then you know what you got to do. You got to get 2. If it comes in light, you got to get 3, right? But my guys are taught, because of our training process and our sales training, how to increase the margin with your mouth. The margin is in your mouth. And if you get good at sales and following the script and making offers, you're going to make more money on a daily basis using your mouth than you are any other way if you're in sales. And so this is kind of a recap. This is Rob Swanson on the ride home, giving you some thoughts about what did we learn this week, what did we focus on this week, what did we do with our franchisees this week, how did we do some business diagnostics, some coaching and some training to help them be more successful, and what are those measurements and things that we looked at. So I hope this was helpful. This is Rob Swanson on the ride home. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.